Alright, everybody, let's go ahead and talk about one of the hottest films of the year. So, Flamin Hot stars Jesse Garcia as Richard Martinez, who goes from drug dealing gangster to janitor at Frito-Lay, where he disrupts the food chain by channeling his inner Mexican heritage to turn flaming hot Cheetos from a snack to an iconic global pop culture phenomenon.
We all write our own stories.
Where is Richard? I'd like to speak to him.
I'm here. This time. That's me, the Mero Mero, Mr. Richard Montañez. I'm the guy who helped bring the world the most popular snack it's ever seen.
Are you ready? A huevo.
I've been ready.
I was really excited for this movie, mostly because I am a sucker when it comes down to true story events. And so we just barely had one this year with Air, which was absolutely fantastic. Up until Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Air was my number one favorite film of the year. And as someone that is a very advocate lover of hot Cheetos, obviously this was going to be one that I was going to be looking forward to. And I'm just a sucker for true stories where we see something go from very little to a full blown thing. And I thought Flamin' Hot was absolutely fantastic. This was Eva Longoria's directorial debut and she absolutely crushed it. I thought this movie had so much heart. It was funny, it was charming, and I really enjoyed the characters. Now, depending on what you read or what you know, some will say that this is not an actual true story. According to the LA Times, reported back in 2021, despite selling the story that he invented the Flamin' Hot brand for Frito-Lay back in the late 2000s, it was documented that he was actually part of the team in the late 80s, which kind of takes the wind out of the sail for this movie. And nobody at Frito-Lay really stopped him from pursuing the brand, mostly because the original Flamin' Hot team had retired by the 2000s, but the few that were there still let the story run it as if it was actually factual. Take away the fact that it might have not been this guy that actually maybe branded the Hot Cheeto brand. This movie was absolutely fantastic. It had so much heart. There was a lot of humor. I thought Eva Longoria did a really good job of giving us this inspirational story that even if it was true or not, by the end of the film, you do get a little bit inspired and a little bit choked up as well. You have Annie Gonzalez as his wife, Judy, and she is probably the most inspirational woman that you will ever meet because no matter what Richard went through, she stuck by his side through thick and thin. And that is something that we would all love to see in our partners. We would love to see somebody that sticks by our side no matter the hardships, believing in us, even if times get tough. And Judy was absolutely fantastic. She is the wife that you want at your corner at every single step of the way because she is absolutely fantastic. And coming from somebody that is an advocate lover of hot Cheetos, now I know why hot Cheetos are very popular with the Latin community. Whenever you went to school, you would always see that one Latina that had hot Cheetos at her desk, in her bag, in her purse, anywhere she went. And yeah, now I know why because it was popularized by Latinos. Really, as somebody that didn't know anything about this story, I thought it was just absolutely fantastic. There are some creative choices that I liked in this movie. I didn't absolutely love it as much as I wanted to, even though it gets a little bit inspirational towards the end of the film. Just seeing the trials and tribulations that this plant had to go through, mostly because of the layoffs that they were going to have, because some of the products was not selling, and if this was not going to sell, that plant was going to go out of business. There would be no jobs for anybody. And just seeing the ups and downs of everybody that was involved in this situation, I thought was very harrowing and a little bit inspirational. You have Richard who doesn't have the best relationship with his father. And so there are a lot of emotional things in this movie that I really liked. However, this movie gets bogged down by something that I really am not a big fan of, and that is when it comes down to the narration of movies. There are times where the narration works and it helps enhance the film. One of the examples, Wolf of Wall Street. I thought that movie put you in the shoes of Jordan Belfort and you felt like you were walking every step of the way with him. When it came down to Flaming Hot and its narration, I was not the biggest fan of it. They do the Ant-Man Louise story side, which I absolutely loved, and I thought it was very funny. Aside from that, a lot of the narration doesn't work for me. I wouldn't have minded it if it was just in the opening and then the film just played out. But also, it takes a little while before we get into what the meat of the story is. And by the time that you get to the meat of the story, you kind of forget what kind of movie you're watching, because it does take a little while before we get to the parts where he's inventing the hot Cheeto brand, trying to sell it, trying to get everybody on board with this product, making it go onto the shelves, and seeing what the results of that is. And even though I really like the lead up to it, I thought there would be a very nice transition as to how we could have gotten there a little bit quicker. If you love hot Cheetos, you're probably going to end up loving this movie, because you really do just see how just something very small, or somebody very small, can really go up in the ranks, and it was just an absolute blast. But overall, I'm going to go ahead and give Flamin Hot a 7 out of 10. This movie was absolutely a lot of fun. It's playing on Hulu at the moment. If you guys have gotten a chance to check it out, go ahead and let me know down in the comments what you thought. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys on the next review.